how I got through it. I made a joke of it. I found humor in it. Sometimes you have to do that in life. What's so funny? Everything, if you know how to look at it just the right way. And that's how you can get through tragedies. That's how you can make the good times even better. And most of life is not just great times and tragedy. Most of life is the mundane, the in-between. Waking up, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. If you can find humor in all of those moments, I mean, you can't help but have a joyous life. And that doesn't mean you make fun of things. There's a difference between making fun and finding humor in. And I get it. Humor is like coffee. It's not for everybody. But haven't you noticed that people who don't find anything funny are just miserable? Always complaining, angry, and not passing geography. How is it that you get through these things? Well, you have to believe in yourself. You have to find a kind of motivation. Maybe your motivation is humor. Maybe your motivation is that you want to prove something to yourself. Whatever it is, you have to find a motivation. Maybe your motivation is a belief that things can get better. And I'm going to suggest to you that optimism is going to be the thing that can drive you forward more than almost any other attitude in life. Is it possible to open a business? So here's my question. Why not you? Why not? Somebody's going to do it. Well, it's because whatever you would fill in after that, I promise you. I don't make you many promises. I promise you, you can go all over the city and talk to people who own businesses, and they'll have the same thing that you're about to fill in right there. But I mean, I'd never been to school. I didn't study business. Neither did almost anybody else who has businesses around here. Well, it's because now you're just talking yourself out of it. You have to believe it's possible. Don't see those things as things that stop you. See them as possibilities.
Last Sunday, and I just been doing quotes every single day, and I was like, wow, I understand these quotes. How come I could have just done it in the beginning? And I was just reading all my stuff I read, and I'm like, wow, I do know what Gavin's saying. I don't know why I didn't do it first of all. I don't know what stopped me from doing it.
Yeah. And hopefully that motivates you in the future to realize, I could do these things. Yeah. Because it does seem insurmountable, because all of a sudden I'm up and I'm talking about Greek philosophers and the spiritual world and dreaming, and your soul's leaving your body. It's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And then after a while you sit there and go, now I get it. And hopefully you can start to see how those ideas influence other things around you. Like, I was standing over there and I was telling you guys that all of you guys want to kill your fathers and have sex with your moms. And you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? But now you understand it. The killer awoke before dawn. He put his boots on. He took a persona from the ancient gallery, and he walked on down the hall. Now that will start to occur to you. You'll realize, I know what he's talking about. And you'll see where it's going. You see that Morrison is building suspense. He goes into the room where his sister lived, and then he paid a visit to his brother. Then he walks on down the hall. And he opens up the door and he sees his dad. And he says, Father, I want to kill you. And then if you know what you're looking for, then you go, oh, I know what's next. Some of you know what I'm talking about. It's a song by the band The Doors, The End. And that's what education should, that's a part of what education should be. It should give you access to ideas like that, so that when you come across these things in life, you go, I know what he's talking about. And it's not as simple as just something obscene. It's deeper than that. And that's a lot of things in life. It's not just what it is. I mean, yeah, there's a surface level thing, but I mean, that's anybody. But it's those deeper understandings that don't bring you just truth, but hope. And there isn't much more that you need in life as a starting point besides hope. But how do you have hope when things seem hopeless? Understand that word. Seems hopeless. So if I have a 9%, I can't pass this class, right? Yes, you can. How? I told you. Kiss my ass and bribe me. No. How do you pass that? You just do the work. Get it done. Turn it in. And do it well. And the more of yourself you put into it, the more of a belief that you have that it's possible. If you go through and you just chat GPT everything, you have a lot of faith in chat GPT after that. But you don't have any faith in yourself. And I guess I would ask you, like, that's what school is. This is the proving grounds. This is the testing grounds and the proving grounds. So that you can find out here what's working and what's not working. It's kind of like if you go to a gym and you're doing boxing classes. It's a good place to find out if you can fight or not. In a gym with gloves on, in a ring with rules, with someone to stop it if things go badly. You don't want to find out in the street. Now, that's when things can go terribly wrong. You test yourself under those conditions where there's a little bit of risk, but you're still in a safe place to fail. You have to be in a place where you're willing to fail. And that's what school is. It's a place where you can test things out, try them out, see if they work. If they don't, what's the worst that happens? You get a D on an assignment. But now you know, okay, I can't study that way. I can't work that way. Let me try this. Let me see if this works. And then you find a combination of how to pass, not even just passing a class, but getting a lot out of it. But why would you get a lot out of a class if you don't think that you need it? And so a lot of how you approach classes, did I say classes? I meant life. But I'll come back to that. One of the ways that you pass classes is you have to believe it's possible. And you have to believe that there's something worthwhile there. If you don't think there's anything worthwhile there, you'd be crazy to pursue it. So sometimes you have to find something worthwhile. I don't know if I've ever told you something like that before. Life is suffering. You have to find something that makes the suffering worthwhile, no matter what it is. I was telling last period, I was in a geography class one time. I had this professor who used to piss off everybody in the class. He was very political. It was just a geography class. Where is Paris located? You know, where are the pyramids? Stuff like that. This guy had actually run for Congress before, and would just piss everybody in the class off by bringing up politics constantly. And he would talk like a Disney villain. He had his hands like this, and he'd always like talk about things, and he'd always like turn his hands and like you see a Disney, like an evil person. And so people were getting pissed off. And so how did I handle that class? Hey, professor, tell them they need to hear this. Get them. People would argue with him, and I'd constantly encourage him to argue back. I would constantly encourage him to argue back. Why? Because the class wasn't interesting. The class was difficult. Like, it was absurdly difficult. He said that he designed the class such that he would probably get an A- if he took the course. And this is a guy who who did geography. And so you can imagine what the grades, everybody else was like C's and D's. And so for whatever reason, he never seemed to realize that I was just stirring the pot whenever he was talking. Why was I doing it? To find something entertaining. You guys anybody here ever go on long runs? Yeah, I know you do. Anybody ever go on a long run and you're like, yes, we're gonna go do 13 miles today, let's do this. Anybody ever sit there and go, we're gonna go do 1 mile today? How do you get through it? You've got to find humor in it. You've got to find a joke in it. You guys know David Goggins? Anybody? David Goggins is the only guy in American history to use it. He went through SEAL selection, Ranger selection, and Air Force Search and Rescue. And when you ask him, how did you go through all those things? Because they're designed to break you down, to wreck you. And he said, you've got to find humor in it. When they tell you, here's a 100-pound rock, one wheel, some yarn, and a plank of wood. You need to transport this 10 miles over there, all this stuff. There's like 3 of you. How do you do that? Well, here's how you don't do it. So, how do you do it? You figure it out and you find a way. And whatever way you find it, you have to find the humor in it because you realize this task is stupid. And so you find a way to do it. You find a humorous way to do it, but the point is you still get it done. You still get it done. Whatever it is, you still get it done. And so I told this professor constantly, tell him, professor, they need to know this. That's right. And everybody else seemed to know what I was doing. I was just stirring the pot because it was entertaining. It was funny to me. And so on the day of the final exam, he had 20 maps around the room, and they were all blank, and each one was numbered, and then they had these little dots on them that with numbers, and he would say, go over to, and everyone's test was different, by the way. He'd say, go over to map 1, point 21. What is at that location? So you have to go look at the map, and then you'd see where point 21 was, and you'd have to know. Oh, this is where the pyramid is, or this is where Cahokia is, or whatever. And there were always these obscure monuments. So the professor walks up to me. I had a girlfriend at the time who was just like dying in this class. She was like fighting every day. She was studying. Had a B minus, C plus, all GPAs too. And she's taking this thing very seriously. I see the absurdity in it. I'm like, this is stupid. This is ridiculous. I'm going to pass the class, but this is a ridiculous test. Professor walks up to me and says, Mr. Scanlon. And I said, future Dr. Scanlon? And he says, and he would laugh and go, future Dr. Scanlon, have you ever heard of the law of reciprocity? I said, I have. It means that you get what you give. He says, brilliant, which by the way spoke very highly of his judgment. He said, brilliant. He said, we're going to learn a bit about that today. You've been wonderful all semester. You can go home. You have an A in the class. Damn. I'm like, really? He says, yes. Now, I'm not that person who argues with you. Are you sure? Don't argue with people. And if someone's like, does you a favor, don't be like, are you sure? You give them a chance to rethink it. Maybe they'll take it back and go, no, never mind. You have a D. He says, go home. You have an A. I said, oh, brilliant. I walked out. My girl was like, where are you going? So I'm going to go grab something to eat. Let me know when you're done with the test. She's furious, of course. But why did I get the A? Was it because the lesson here is not to, I don't know, like make friends with people. The point here is just, that's how I got through it. I made a joke of it. I found humor in it. Sometimes you have to do that in life. What's so funny? Everything, if you know how to look at it just the right way. And that's how you can get through tragedies. That's how you can make the good times even better. And most of life is not just great times and tragedy. Most of life is the mundane, the in-between. Waking up, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. If you can find humor in all of those moments, you can't help but have a joyous life. And that doesn't mean you make fun of things. There's a difference between making fun and finding humor in. Like, I have a standing rule, I don't make fun of people for things they can't control. But I'll poke fun at people for things we can control. Not to put people down, but just because it's funny. It's funny. And I get it. Humor is like coffee. It's not for everybody. But haven't you noticed that people who don't find anything funny are just miserable? Always complaining, angry, and not passing geography. So how is it that you get through these things? Well, you have to believe in yourself. You have to find a kind of motivation. Maybe your motivation is humor. Maybe your motivation is that you want to prove something to yourself. Whatever it is, you have to find a motivation. Maybe your motivation is a belief that things can get better. And I'm going to suggest to you that optimism is going to be the thing that can drive you forward more than almost any other attitude in life. You have to believe it's possible. And I don't just mean like, close your eyes, cross your fingers and say, I hope that this is possible. You have to believe it's possible. What do you want to do? Want to go to Harvard? Anybody in here want to go to Harvard? Yeah. What's your GPA?
No, it's not that. I was just asking, like, how will you know if we're being optimistic or delusional?
Oh, I'm going to get to that. Yeah. Is anybody here want to go to Harvard? Okay. Maybe you do, and you're like, I want to, but geez, dude, Harvard took me. Not out of high school. At one point out of high school. After that, I went to community college, did very, very well there, and all of a sudden you get all those doors open up. The point is this, it's possible. It's possible. Not for me, dude, for me. If any of you guys knew me in high school, I'd been like, when I got to UCLA finally, I was sitting 2 seats down from somebody who I knew in high school one day in a class, just happened to be in the same class. He does a double take, he looks at me and goes, Scanlon? I said, yeah. Hey, how you doing? He's all, what are you doing here? You see, I said, oh, I'm taking an English class. And he's like, how? And it wasn't just like a joking around. He was serious, because this is a guy with 4.4, whatever it was. The guy worked his butt off every day. And he goes, how? I said, I can hit the outside fastball. And he goes, oh, why? Because that justifies it in his mind. That had nothing to do with how I got in there. But in his mind, then it was, oh, okay, that can explain it. It's funny. It's funny. So maybe that's the thing that can motivate you, is that you have to believe, you have to find something humorous. But again, it begins with that optimism, to believe it's possible. Anybody here want to have a business one day? Yeah, but stop right there, dude. But. There's no but in there. Look up and down Highland. Look how many businesses there are here in National City. Is it possible to open a business? So here's my question. Why not you? Why not? Somebody's going to do it. Well, it's because whatever you would fill in after that, I promise you. I don't make you many promises, but I promise you can go all over the city and talk to people who own businesses, and they'll have the same thing that you're about to fill in right there. But I mean, I'd never been to school. I didn't study business. Neither did almost anybody else who has businesses around here. Well, it's because now you're just talking yourself out of it. You have to believe it's possible. Don't see those things as things that stop you. See them as possibilities. How can you know when something is just delusional? What would be delusional? Is it possible to go to Mars? It's possible. Elon Musk is trying to do it right now. And not just go to Mars. He's trying to set up colonies on Mars. Before this guy, right now, it's like, oh, that's not possible. It wasn't possible to go to the moon until we did. It wasn't possible to cross the Atlantic until we did. It wasn't possible to do anything that we've done until we did. Where the hell is that? Anybody here know where electricity comes from? I don't know. I come in here, I turn that on. Why do light? What causes a light to light up? What's in it? I don't know. Bright shit. I don't know. I have no idea. But just because I don't know doesn't mean it's not possible. What I don't know, a friend of mine once told me, he said, Scanlon, what you don't know could fill a library. And he's true. He's right. It's true. The possibilities that I haven't even thought about are all around me. I never even thought of electricity. I just turned the switch on. What's in your mind that people haven't even thought of? Or better yet, that people have thought of but thought was impossible? Or even more so, thought was impossible from you. A guy 2 seats down from me. Scanlon, what are you doing here? What's the thing that you can do that people will look at you and go, Aaron? Really? Hydrogen cars? You? Yeah. Turns out you eat some rye bread. You'll understand. And so the people who believe in themselves, they do things that give them more reasons to believe. It's little victories. Set yourself up for little victories, which means having to set yourself up for little failures. Your time here at this school is almost done. That's an opportunity. It's 4 years of opportunities you may have missed to fail little things and then become successful in other things to build yourself up to believe in yourself. The best time to plant a tree, bless you, the best time to plant a tree, 20 years ago. Anybody plant a tree 20 years ago? Okay. Second best time? Today. So now you can start doing those things today. Believe in yourself today. Well, why would you believe in yourself? If you don't have that thing, then you have to find little victories, little things to build yourselves up. What can you do? Clean your room. I always suggest that one, clean your room. And then keep it clean. If you can clean your room, that means you can take control over the little area of the world that belongs to you. What if I share a room? You see what's going on there. One of two things. Either you're making excuses or you're looking for solutions. I hope it's looking for solutions. Then you clean your half of the room. What if I don't have a room? What if I sleep in my living room? Clean your couch. Clean your backpack. Whatever you have control over in your life, put those things in order and keep them in order. And then bigger things will be added to you, things that you can prove. And it isn't enough just to say, I could if I wanted to. Let's see it. There's a difference between that and actually doing it. That's what he's pointing out. People who believe in themselves, they do things that give them more reasons to believe. You can believe it. It's finding your motivations so that you can give yourself reasons to believe in yourself. That's why I say, I look at you guys and I believe in you. And I know that people say this all the time. Oh, everyone says, I believe in you, I can do it, you can do it. And I hope you guys realize before it's too late that you could. Because there is, like what, I can't even say it, like what you could do. I've been saying this since the very first week of school, if you guys can think that far back. What you're capable of, what you could do, is so far beyond what you can imagine right now. Unless you've ever really poured yourself into something and focused on something, you don't even know what you're capable of. Now, what you're capable of is going to be so far beyond what you can imagine because you've never done it before. But everything is impossible until you do it. So do it. Find a motivation. What's your motivation? Find something this class sucks. I'm not saying this one. This one, of course, is brilliant, but this class sucks. But you know what's funny? I don't know, teachers, I don't know, something about the teacher. Something about the room, something about whatever. You gotta find something. That's what motivates you to get there every day. I wonder if any of you guys go to the gym every day. I mean every day, whether you want to or not. There are people who do that, and they show up even when they're sore, even when they're tired, even when they're hungry, because that's the habit that you have formed. And a lot of it is just showing up. You're better today than you were yesterday because you showed up. And so these are the habits of success. Show up. Have a good attitude. Find something funny about it. Have a good attitude about it. Is it because you really, 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 really want to go to your job at McDonald's? No, but aren't those customers funny sometimes? You imagine even someone's yelling at you about their fries. You're sitting there going like, this guy's losing his mind over fries, over French fries. Of course, you wouldn't sit there and go, you're losing your mind over French fries. You know, in your mind you're thinking, well, sir, I'm gonna get you a brand new batch of French fries, and that will make your day. You gotta see the comedy in it.
Yeah, please spit in it.
No, you don't spit at them. That's coward stuff. I'm gonna do something behind your back. I'm gonna key your car when you're not looking.
To do it in front of me.
Take his fries. If you're gonna do something. But then again, what do you get out of that? Is that guy having a bad day?
Yeah.
There's a reason he's showing up. He's shit talking the guy at McDonald's who's giving him the best and tastiest French fries on the face of the planet. The guy's still upset about it. That guy's having a bad day. You're gonna make his day worse. He's trying to make yours worse. You're gonna let him make it worse? Yeah. No, there's no way. There's no way. Before I became a teacher, you have to do an exit interview at my school. I'll leave it with this. The guy who interviewed me told me, actually, here's a better one. When I was a first year teacher, there was a substitute here whose father was a teacher for like 20-something years. And I asked her, how do you get through it? Because everyone's always telling me how terrible it is. And she said that her father decided long ago, nobody gets to have a better day than him. Well, that's a pretty good, and that doesn't mean he's gonna elevate himself. It means if your class is giving you hell, you give them way more hell. You make them miserable. If a class tries to make you miserable, you make them more miserable. Not out of spite, but just because nobody gets to have a better day than you. And then you can use that as your motivation. This guy's having a terrible day. He's yelling at me about French fries. But you know what? I'm having a better day than he is. And I'm laughing my ass off in my head. And later on, you can kind of, find some more humor in it. I have more, but I'll leave it there. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Neat.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. Happy Monday. Happy Tuesday. Sorry, go ahead.